What is going on, guys? It's Aaron with Lansing Lawn Service, and today I want to talk to you about the pros and the cons of prepay billing right after this. Everybody knows there is just not enough time in the day, especially when you're trying to run a business. When I do have free time, I don't want to be juggling a bunch of apps trying to get invoices out. I want it to be simple and easy and quick. What does this mean for you? Well, for starters, if you're running multiple apps to operate your business and produce your invoices, you might as well just stop using all of those and just use Jobber. They put it all together in one easy to use app. They're not only offering a free trial of the software, but if you sign up for a free trial before March 11th, you are automatically entered to win a vehicle wrap worth $4,000. See the link below. Also, let me know in the comments below what you do to get away from the grind and have fun. There are a lot of awesome things about prepay billing in the lawn care industry. However, there are some negatives to it as well, and I want to go over those with you today. I'm sitting here at my dining room table. It's a mess. Excuse the mess, guys. But I am working on my April invoicing, and it is February 28th. That's right. It's February. I'm getting ready to send out billing for April. Now, you might be saying to yourself, that sounds ridiculous. Well, it's not really ridiculous. All the time. I mean, I can't count on all my 10 fingers and 10 toes how many times I have seen in Facebook forums guys complaining about how customers have stiffed them, they aren't getting paid, they've had to send out notices or intent to file letters, even going as far as to sue the customer just to get their payment. Prepay billing eliminates 99.9% of that. Now, what is that 0.01% that I'm talking about? That 0.1%, that is actually human error. The vast majority of my billing is prepay. However, I have taken on customers just like last year where they came on in the middle of the season. They needed, a couple of months of lawn care, and just to save time and headaches, I decided to bill after the work was done. That is a human error. I should never do that. And I'm going to tell you why right now. When I decided to send out those billings at the end of the month, I knew there was a much increased chance of not getting paid. And guess what happened? The last month of the season, for all my mowing that I did not get paid for that. Over $200 worth of work wasn't paid. Now, I'm probably going to have to send out an intent to file to that customer to get them to pay. All of my attempts at communicating have not worked, so that I think is what I'm going to have to do. That's just the nature of the beast. So first, let's go over the pros of prepay invoicing. The first thing that is really excellent about prepay billing is that you are about 99% guaranteed to be paid. Okay, that's the first thing. That is just the whole reason that you would want to do prepay billing. And I know there's a lot of other guys that have done it for that specific reason as well. But there are other fringe benefits to prepay invoicing. The first one that sticks out to me is that you have money in your bank account before the season actually starts. Now, this is something huge for a lot of us seasonal guys. It's February 28th. I just finished up doing all of my invoicing for the month of April. Now, there's not much to invoice in April, but I do at least one cut in April. So that gets invoiced out and that's sent out March 1st so that people have time to pay it. Now, some of them and a lot of them will not pay that until closer to the end of March. What they don't realize is that sets them up to be paying at the end of the month every month. A lot of them will start to edge towards being late because they don't pay until the end of March. Now, I do everything that I can to warn my customers that they are going to receive their first invoice on March 1st. Now, you know as well as I do, a lot of people just don't register that type of information until there's an invoice right in front of their face. So I send out renewal letters and things like that and let them know that, hey, your first invoice is coming in March. Don't be surprised. We are still doing prepay for all of our services. And some of the customers understand that. They start saving up for that first payment. A lot of them don't. Now for me, my billing is split right down the middle between those who want to pay on a credit card and those who want to pay with a paper invoice or a check. And I have a few older customers. They just want to pay with a check. I'm okay with that. I am okay with any way you want to pay me as long as you pay me. And as long as it's not Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is dropping like a friggin' rock. So anyway, I encourage my customers to pay with a credit card, but obviously there are those older customers who just simply don't want to pay online with a credit card, and I understand. There's pros and cons there, and I'm not going to go into that, but another really great thing about prepay is that you can give your customers a little bit extra time to pay if they need it. Okay, now I'm not a hard ass. I don't jump down a customer's throat if they haven't paid on time, because I have that cushion of a whole nother 30 days if I want for them to pay. Now, I generally, once I'm about 5 days away from the invoice being due, I generally send out payment reminders, just reminding the customer, hey, you haven't paid this yet. Most of them pay. Some of them go over and are a little late every month. We've all had those type of customers, but they still do pay. And if they don't pay within, I'd say, 2 weeks after that invoice date, I'm contacting them. I'm saying, hey, I am going to stop servicing your property if this isn't paid. Now, some of my clients I've had for a very long time. You know, I've been doing this for 5 years. Some of my clients I've had for those 5 years. And so I am very lenient with them. If they need time to be able to collect some money, to be able to pay their bill, I'm very flexible with those customers who have been with me a long time. Now, there's some customers that do try to take advantage of that, and I kind of know who they are, and I crack down on them pretty hard. But other than that, everyone pays. So those are the main pros to prepay billing. All right, let's go into the cons now of prepay billing. Everything looks rosy on the outside, but there are some cons to prepay billing. I would be the first to admit it, but the good far outweighs the bad. So the first con that I actually hear from prospective customers sometimes, not very often, but sometimes, is, why do I have to pay for services before you actually service my property? And I simply answer that with, we have been ripped off time and time again, and we just can't afford to be ripped off anymore. And I leave it at that. They have the option to choose to go with us or to not go with us. And if they choose not to, that's fine. If they choose to, they will prepay. Another con is getting people signed up in the middle of the season. You and I both know that hardly any new customer is going to sign up March or April before we actually start cutting. Most of them are going to sign up May, mid-May, maybe even later than that. And so the trick is to getting them started with prepayment at that point. And it can be tough. So when they decide, yes, I want to go with Lansing Lawn Service, I immediately say, okay, I will send you an invoice as soon as I get home, or if we're communicating online, I will just shoot them an invoice right away, and I make sure that I state in there, this must be paid before service starts, and your service starts on such and such a day. And that really gets people moving and motivated. Now, some people, they just aren't into that. I've had only one customer who said, you know what? I don't understand why I got to prepay for services. I pay all my bills. I'm trustworthy. And they decided not to go with me. And you know what? I said, I'm fine with that. You go find yourself a good company. Because I get the feeling that if someone talks to me that way and communicates that I pay all my bills and all that stuff, chances are they are planning not to pay me. I am not taking that risk. So that's another pro, actually, of prepay. Another con to prepay is when you have to skip a cut, like when it gets super dry in the summer. When you have to skip a cut, I do not like charging customers for a cut that wasn't done. And so that becomes a challenge, but I have figured out a pretty good system on how to overcome that particular con. And this is how I do it. I issue a credit on the next month's invoice. So if I don't cut 1 week in, say, May, which would never happen, but if I don't make a cut in May because it's too dry, then the next month I issue a credit on that customer's next invoice saying credit for skipped mowing in May, and I put the date down. They don't pay for that. The sum is zero for that particular cut. That helps the customer to see that they did not pay for that particular cut. While they do pay for it up front, they get reimbursed for it with a cut that is not paid for the next month. Now, I did have, not last year, but the year before, we had a very dry fall, and that was scary for me because I had to issue some credits for the fall, and they weren't going to be getting another invoice. And so that was tricky, but I did take care of that. Some of them, they just said, you know what, just give me a credit in the spring. And that's what I did. Everybody else was taken care of with fall cleanup or leaf mulching, whatever you want to call it. Those were credited through other services that we provide. So if you can figure out a good system for crediting customers when you didn't cut, or if you go on vacation, you can credit them, they are okay with it. By and large, my new clients are very okay with prepaying for services. That is a trend that has grown over time. Now, I like to think of prepaying for lawn service just like going into McDonald's. McDonald's does not give you your food until you have paid. They're not going to hand you your bag of food until you pay them. Lawn service shouldn't be any different because it is very, very, very easy for a customer to rip off a lawn care guy. And the reason is because our prices are quite low compared to other industries, like heating and cooling. They are going to charge you like $100 an hour at least to work on your heater, on your furnace or your air conditioner. So, I mean, we don't have that luxury. We're charging like $40, $50 a cut. So when it comes to legal recourse, it's difficult for us because we charge so low that it's almost not worth it to litigate something like no payment because we're almost spending more to get that money than we would be if we just let it go. Prepay is a really great way to go, guys. I would encourage you to take a look at it, to really think about going to Prepay. I tell my clients that the industry as a whole is starting to move towards Prepay service. So, guys, please take a look, a serious look, at switching to Prepay for your lawn care business. It is the bee's knees. It's amazing. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell so you see when my new videos come out. So be sure to stay tuned for my next video. And as always, guys, I will see you once we get cutting the grass.